First and foremost, I'd like to thank you all for being here with us again today. As you all know by now, on Friday afternoon, members of the Carter County Sheriff's Office and agents from NCIS arrested 3 suspects in connection with the double murder of Albert and Dwayne Correll. At the time, we were very limited in the type and amount of information that we could release, and therefore we plan to meet with you all again here as we did 2 weeks ago. At that time, we requested your patience and understanding as we wanted to be able to remain focused on the investigation rather than fielding daily questions and requests for updates from multiple media outlets. And I would like to thank you on behalf of everybody and show you our appreciation for abiding by that request. At that time, we told you that when we had information that we could release, that we would do so, and that you would all be the first to know. Again, I'd like to thank you all for being here with us today. First and foremost, I would like to recognize our District Attorney, Scott Thomas, who is here. And I would like to take this time to recognize and to thank the members of our investigative team and agency representatives who have been instrumental in this investigation. Of course, the deputies and detectives from the Carter County Sheriff's Office, NCIS Special Agent in Charge Joe Kennedy, NCIS Special Agent J.C. Hawks, NCIS Special Agent Justin Liu, ATF Special Agent Brad Wartilak, ATF Resident Agent in Charge Terry Henderson. Agents from NCIS and the ATF played a large role in assisting the Carter County Sheriff's Office with this investigation. They were with us from the very start, and we all work together as a team daily. We appreciate it very much and thank them for their efforts. I would also like to mention that we were assisted by officers from the Beaufort Police Department who provided valuable information in this case. The Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department Homicide Unit assisted our detectives in locating individuals for questioning in the Charlotte area, and the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Crime Scene Unit processed and collected evidence from the vehicle that was used during the commission of these murders. Officers from the Florence Police Department in South Carolina assisted our office in locating the suspect vehicle in their jurisdiction. The working relationships established during this investigation were law enforcement at its finest. Members of different agencies all working together for a common goal and with a singular mission to bring justice for the victims and their families. Now I'd like to turn it over to Chief Detective Jason Wank, who led the investigation, who will speak to you about some of the general details of the case. Please understand that this investigation is ongoing and that this case will not be officially closed until all suspects have had their cases adjudicated in court. Therefore, we are still limited as to the information that we can release at this time. And after Captain Wank makes some comments, we will then offer you all the opportunity to ask any questions, and if any of our representatives would like to speak to you about the case. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff Buck. As you're all aware, 3 arrests were made on Friday in connection with the shooting deaths of Albert and Dwayne Correll that happened Saturday, June 2nd at 167 Taylor Farm Road in Beaufort. Although these arrests were made, the case does remain an active investigation, limiting certain details that we will be able to provide to you today. What we can tell you is that our investigation revealed on June 2nd, Defendant Jaden Davis and Defendant Joseph Parada followed the victims back to their residence on Taylor Farm Road in Beaufort after a trip they had taken to Walmart in Morehead City. The intent was to rob Albert Correll of his wallet and cash. This was a pre-planned crime after a previous altercation that had took place between Albert Correll and Jaden Davis in the latter part of May, which involved the alleged theft of money. The defendants, Davis and Parada, were in a borrowed vehicle when the act was committed, which matched the description provided to deputies on the night this incident occurred. As we previously released to you folks, a silver or faded blue 4-door passenger vehicle. That vehicle was, in fact, identified as a 2007 Toyota Corolla, silver in color. During the robbery, Jaden Davis is accused of shooting both victims before he and Joseph Parada fled the scene and eventually returned to their apartment on Ann Street. Parada was dropped off at the Ann Street residence, at which time Davis and the third defendant, identified and charged as Brandon Smallwood, left in Smallwood's vehicle and traveled back to Onslow County. Although Smallwood was not at the scene of the actual shooting, he has been charged with 2 counts of accessory after the fact of murder in both Dwayne and Albert Carell for implementing false alibis for the other defendants charged in the case. The three defendants were developed as people of interest early on in the case and were interviewed on several occasions starting on the week of June the 4th. In addition, detectives and special agents working with the Beaufort Police Department learned that a .40 caliber handgun was possessed both by Parada and Davis prior to the shooting and was now missing after the shooting occurred. I may remind you that both of the victims were shot with a .40 caliber handgun. In the days following the shooting, all 3 suspects provided information to investigators during several interviews, all which later proved to be false. On Thursday, detectives presented the current investigation to District Attorney Scott Thomas, who authorized criminal charges be obtained. In the very early morning hours of Friday, NCIS agents and detectives took both Davis and Smallwood into custody at their barracks aboard Camp Lejeune, and Parada was taken into custody at his home. After the arrest, 2 of the 3 defendants finally cooperated with law enforcement and provided additional statements of this shooting incident.